Tuesday edition of Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM. Yes, we are back on your radio. Eagles pregame, preempted us yesterday, so we didn't have a chance to preview the game on the radio last night. So we'll just have to recap the game on tonight's show here on 97.3 ESPN. Eagles win in a big way. We will recap the game and my thoughts and your thoughts after the game. Texts are coming in 609-403-0973. Also, your DMs into 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. So, you guys tell me how you feel after the Eagles win on Monday Night Football. They're 3-0. They're one of only three teams that have started the year 3-0. That's a big part of the conversation. Also, what does the rest of the schedule mean? Because every team in the NFC East lost except for the Eagles. We came into the weekend, Cowboys 2-0, Washington 2-0, Eagles 2-0. The only team that came out undefeated, the Philadelphia Eagles. So we'll get into all that more here on the Power Hour known as Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Jeff in Ocean City, I see you texting in at 609-403-0973. We'll get to you and others in just a bit. But first, my quick thoughts on the Eagles game last night. And let's start with this. I don't think you can walk away from that game last night without realizing that this defense has now won you 2 of your 3 games this year. Last night was probably the best performance by the defense in these 3 games, but it was also the performance that was absolutely necessary. When you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, you realize that this team literally just went after Tampa the entire game offensively. And even though Tampa still got 11 points on the board in the 25-11 win, that was not the full story, because that 8 points came at near the end of the game. That was in the fourth quarter. That was in garbage time. The Eagles entered the fourth quarter of that game last night up 22-3. So obviously, the offense is not what got them there. It was the defense. And I got to tell you guys, look at the Eagles' defense. It's starting to become very clear to me that this team may not be they may not have the depth of talent that last year's team did, but they are certainly a team that is putting up the kind of performances, maybe not statistically, but performances that you need. Look, you got 70 sacks last year. I don't know if you're getting 70 sacks ever again, right? You got 6 already through 3 games. You project that out, that's only 34. So in all likelihood, you're probably only going to get to around 40 sacks this year. You're not getting 70 again. That was a ridiculous number and an all-time historic stat. But the more important number is you have 17 hurries in the first 3 games. So while statistically you don't have as many sacks this year as you did last year, one could argue that you could have a better pressure year because you're on pace to have 102 quarterback pressures this year. To me, I think that what we're seeing from the Eagles is a team that is playing like a unit. And when they're not winning aesthetically great, they're winning as an in total unit. Look, there's nobody on this team that has overtly amazing individual numbers. There just isn't. You might find people who have certain games that they're going to have really good games. Like A.J. Brown had put up some big yards last night, but if he didn't have those drops, maybe the game plays out a little differently. You look at a guy like Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter was a force of nature last night, but he didn't have like this big statistical output. And for the Eagles, they're tied with the Kansas City Chiefs with 17 quarterback hurries this year. And while quarterback hurries are not as, fun and as cool and as, desired as the sack number, right? We were always taught as we were growing up, the sack number was the number you go for. But now as an adult and no longer a child, I understand that I need to put away the things I had as a child and be a grown-up and realize that hurrying the quarterback is actually more important than a sack number, because the hurrying of the quarterback gets him off his spot, puts the team in a bad position to execute offensively, and gives your defense a better shot to stop them on passing downs. The only teams with more quarterback hurries this year are the New England Patriots, 18. And by the way, when was the last time that team won a game? Packers with 19. Packers actually look really good. I got to admit, I did not think Jordan Love was going to perform this well without basically half of his team out there. But their defense is getting the job done. The Lions are probably going to win the NFC North. They're at 20. 49ers, arguably the best team in the NFL with 22 hurries. And the Jacksonville Jaguars have 22 quarterback hurries as well. And frankly, I'm completely confused how the Jags lost to the Texans last week. But that's a conversation for another segment. The Eagles are right there with some of the better defenses in the NFL in quarterback hurries. They got more quarterback hurries than the Dallas Cowboys. They do. They got more hurries than the Saints. Steelers got TJ Watt. Eagles got more than them. I think this Eagles defense deserves a lot more credit than what we've been giving them. I think that the run game and defense might be the key to winning this year, because teams have figured out that you got a game plan for the Eagles. There is a blueprint out there of how to limit the Eagles, and that is don't let them get explosive plays. Don't let them beat you over the top. Don't put them in a position to run away from you in the game. And what the Eagles are now showing is fine. You don't want A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Hurts to beat you. We got an offensive line and DeAndre Swift to run up in your face. The Eagles done an amazing job at adjusting on the fly. This is a team that built this offense last year that was predicated on Jalen Hurts getting the ball to the playmakers and Jalen Hurts making plays with his legs. This year, they're 3-0 because they are the team that pretty much has gone out there and said, stop this. Oh, you can't? Well, we get the number 2 rushing offense in the NFL. Now, I will not ignore the offense. I know there were some concerns offensively last night. And I have not been able to decipher the exact reason why, but after watching the game last night and rewatching the first half, I still have to rewatch the second half. My initial take is that the reason why Jalen Hurts is struggling is more than the fact that he had the stomach flu last night. By the way, if you go by Jalen, he has been sick every time his team has played on Monday night. So, maybe just don't let the Eagles play on Monday night anymore. But I know that sounds silly, but whatever. That's what Jalen Hurts said. But I think Jalen Hurts, his struggles last night went way beyond a stomach bug or playing on Monday night. I think that this team is not calling the right offense for him to be successful. I think there's too many times in the first 3 games, this team is asking Jalen Hurts to not function as a MVP runner-up that he was last year, and you're instead demanding he function a little differently this year. I think there's 2 problems happening here. I think, 1, the Eagles are trying to get him to run a little less. I think that they believe that some of his problems the last couple of years when it comes to being healthy is because he has not because he's been running too much. And I think taking that designed run away from him, that has been an adjustment for this offense. I think that they miscalculated how that impacted this team overall. To me, the other reason why the offense is struggling is because I think Brian Johnson is trying to limit the amount of pressure that he is putting on Jalen's shoulders. I think that Brian is trying to get Jalen, I think he's trying to simplify things for him and make it less complicated. The problem with that theory, that game plan, is that what Brian Johnson is doing, he's taking the ball away from a playmaker. He's asking Kobe Bryant to be a point guard. He's asking LeBron James to not score. He's asking, Wayne Gretzky to not pass the puck. He's, whatever sport analogy you want to use. He's asking Randy Johnson to get a strikeout without a fastball. Like, I feel like you can't take away the natural playmaking of Jalen Hurts and refuse to give him all the tools in the tool bag to be successful. You don't go to a mechanic shop, bring your car in, and then tell the mechanic, hey, I need you to work on my car, but I'm going to take away your socket wrench set, or I'm going to take away something that you need to get this job done. He's going to look at you like you're nuts. But I think Jalen has a little bit too much trust in Brian Johnson. And I think that the offense, the problem is that this offense is asking Jalen to do things that might not be what brings out the best in him. All right, let's get to the text board. 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Jeff in Ocean City chimes in and says, hey, Josh, Bird's line play was awesome, and the final drive to run out the clock was amazing. Bird's getting better each week. Jeff in Ocean City. P.S. I'm still stuck in the airport. Glad to have the 97.3 ESPN app powered up by First Bank of Seattle. First of all, hat tip to Jeff in Ocean City for remembering the sponsor of the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Number 2, I'm glad that we can at least keep you company while you're stuck in the airport. Apparently, a lot of people are having a lot of weird travel issues today. I've heard that, John McMullen was on the Sports Back. Mike Gill earlier said that his flight from Tampa got sent to Chicago before it can go back to Philadelphia. I know that Chris Franklin from NJ Advanced Media, he had told me that he had to go from Tampa to Miami and then from Miami to Philadelphia. I mean, I don't know what is going on with travel today, but it seems like everyone's having issues. But back to Jeff's original point. The offensive line and defensive line, they don't win you style points. They don't, win fans over initially on draft day. They don't win you fantasy football championships. The offensive and defensive line, they don't sell as many jerseys as the quarterback and the wide receiver and the running back and all the other positions. But what the offensive and defensive line do is win championships. They help you win games. There's no way the Eagles reach 2 Super Bowls in a 5-year stretch if it wasn't for the offensive and defensive lines. It's just a fact of life. It is just the way this team is built. And Jeff and Ocean City, I think you're right in the fact that they are getting better each week. I have seen incremental improvements by individuals and groups of players. So you are right about that. Joey D. in Ventnor chimes in and says, solid defensive effort. Hurries led the turnovers as well. The run game looks as solid as last year with Swift, a way better runner. However, the defense keeps bailing out the offense. Passing game doesn't look fluid. It's early, but I'm pleased to be 3-0. Go Birds! That's from Joey D. in Ventnor. Joey D., first of all, good to hear from you. Hope is all is well with you. Second of all, I would say that your assessment is nothing you said is incorrect, but I kind of want to merge two parts of that together because you said, the passing game doesn't look fluid, but the run game looks as solid as last year. You're right. DeAndre Swift is a better running back, a better runner than Miles Sanders. He's arguably the most talented running back this team has had since LaShawn McCoy. I'm not saying he is LaShawn McCoy. I'm not saying he's going to be that guy. I'm just telling you that I think that his skill set is going to allow him to have more games like you saw on Monday Night Football than the kind of games you saw from Miles Sanders last year. I think Miles Sanders, while he was a solid, competent, starting NFL running back, I think DeAndre Swift is just on a different level of talent and skill. And you're seeing that in the last two games, that this guy explodes through openings in the offensive line. And the running game is part of the reason, is having success because the passing game, to use your words, Joey Diamenter, doesn't look fluid. Here's why. Jason Kelsey, let me see if I can find the audio. Jason Kelsey described this on the New Heights podcast last week about how teams are playing them. And I thought it was a very interesting point by Jason because it explains why the offense is struggling the way it is, passing wise, but why it's still doing well running the ball.
They were playing a lot of deep zone coverage, trying to prevent the big play, giving us boxes that were conducive for inside zone, and we kept running it. And I think, their clear effort right now, and it was the same way in week one, is, prevent the big plays. Don't let A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Hurts, hurt you down the field. Make them put together long drives. And I think that, we ended up figuring it out throughout the game. That's what you want to do.
You heard it right there. He said, look, they don't want Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown to beat them. So teams are basically saying, I dare you to run the ball. And the Eagles are saying, fine, we'll run the ball. Fine. We'll go to a different style of offense than what won us games last year. It just shows you how layered and how talented this team is. So for me, at least, I don't look at the issues with the passing game as a long-term problem. I'm just seeing it as a outcome of how teams are playing the Eagles, and now the Eagles have to adjust. Now, Jalen Hurts had 2 interceptions last night. Jalen's 1 interception was obviously a miscommunication. The other interception was frankly unacceptable. And I think that what you're doing is you're telling Jalen Hurts to play a style of football that is preventing him from doing what he does best, which is not turn the ball over. Jalen Hurts has shown you during his football life that he is not a guy who turns the ball over a lot. He's not a guy who is overtly prone to fumbles or is a guy who throws a lot of interceptions. But Jalen Hurts had 6 interceptions last season and 9 the year before that. He has already 3 this year. 2021, 2022, the Eagles were not trying to play overtly conservative with him as a quarterback. What they were trying to do is put him in position to help them win games. I think maybe they have to get back to that because, again, Jalen's career is not a career of I'm the guy who throws interceptions. I'm the guy who makes mistakes. His final year at Oklahoma, when he was the Heisman Trophy runner-up, he had 32 touchdowns and 8 interceptions in 14 games. It just goes to show you that this is who Jalen is. Jalen is a guy who doesn't commit a lot of mistakes. And I think that, as I said, maybe the way they're calling this offense is creating an unintended consequence, which is him making mistakes he would not have made previously. All right, more of your text coming up, 609-403-0973. That's text board. I see Croce chiming in on the text board. Plus, we'll get to your DMs through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on a Tuesday night. Let me know what you guys are thinking on the text board, on the DMs. More of your messages coming up. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night on 97.3 ESPN.
Wake up weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on 97.3 ESPN with Unsportsmanlike with Evan Cohen, Super Bowl champion Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman.
I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles, for all of the questions that we talk about with the offensive side of the ball, the things that they've got to improve on, the one thing that's not in question is their ability to be able to get after the passer, and Jalen Carter is right in the middle of it.
Brought to you by the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City.
With GMF financing to qualified buyers, excludes Corvette, excludes fire sales.
In today's market, so many dealers are selling at or even above MSRP.
But Bennett Chevrolet isn't like most dealers. We're still selling new vehicles at GM supplier employee prices. Yes, you pay what employees pay. We got famous selling new vehicles at GM supplier employee prices and by giving you all the rebates. That's right. Unlike other dealers at Bennett, you get both. And right now you'll save even more with available 0% financing. But wait, it gets better. Bennett is paying an incredible $8,000 minimum for any trade towards any pre-owned in stock. That's at least $8,000 for total junk. Imagine how much you'll get for a good trade. And our non-commissioned sales staff is paid on your satisfaction, not by trying to sell you more. So there's no pressure, haggles, or hassles. Just pure joy. So come on, find new roads at Bennett Chevrolet in Egg Harbor Township and BennettChevy.com.
When your people are ready, your business is ready. Cintas makes sure they have what they need to perform their best. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, fire protection systems that are tested and inspected, first aid and safety supplies, floor mats, or cleaning tools and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together, so visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
Well, it's a patented key ingredient called testofen. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. It's backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text ROCK to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text ROCK to 321321. That's ROCK to 321321.
Next question. This place is known for its extraordinary financial services since 1902. Contestant 3?
Motion First Bank?
Oh, nice try. Sorry, everyone. The answer we were looking for is Ocean First Bank. Ocean First. But the good news is everyone goes home a winner with convenient access to deposit services, mortgage loans, business financing solutions, and digital banking options for business and personal accounts. Through local branches and online banking, your needs always come first at Ocean First Bank.
Now get 5.25% APY when you open a 6-month CD with at least $10,000 of new money to Ocean First. Learn more. Open yours with a local branch or at oceanfirst.com. Restrictions apply.
Equal housing lender, equal opportunity lender, member FDIC.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-386-7140. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-386-7140 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, or other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-386-7140. 800-386-7140. 800-386-7140.
Hi, this is Dr. Brad Schaefer. As a podiatrist, I can tell you no two people's feet are alike, which is why I recommend Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotic inserts. They're customized for your feet, so you get a unique solution your feet really need, not just a one-size-fits-all insole. They're clinically proven to provide pain relief for achy feet, knees, lower back, plantar fasciitis, and heels. Take the Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotics assessment in Walmart today, now in the foot care aisle.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Now for a limited time, it's buy one, get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday. Buy one, get one free and enjoy the sweet, delicate flavor of snowy white crab meat. Pair it with one of our handcrafted cocktails like the Stoli Vanilla Creamsicle or the Bourbon Peach Sweet Tea. Top it off with Chicky and Pete's world famous crab fries. Buy one, get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday for a limited time. Restrictions apply only at Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's to partner with the Philadelphia Eagles. Chicky and Pete's has been named the official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, and we continue to serve as the official caterer of both Eagles training camp and the official caterer of the First Trust Bank Club at Lincoln Financial Field. Go where the players go. The official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Don't forget Game Night being brought to you by my friends over at Jenkins & Sons Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Is your home ready for the fall and winter season? Are you worried that your rooms, after not staying cool enough during the summer, will not keep you warm this winter? Well, call Jenkins Plumbing and Heating today about a new system from American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning or a Mitsubishi ductless system. Take advantage of financing of up to $15,000 from South Jersey Gas or Atlantic City Electric. Save more space with these local utility companies. A new system can save you on your utility bill. Call Jenkins at 609-641-6440 and visit them online at jenkinsandsons.com. All right, we'll get back to the text board in just a moment. See a couple I'll read over here. Over at 609-403-0973 with DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. Before we get to all that, really quick side note about the weekend of football. I don't know what on earth happened to the Cowboys and the Washington Commanders, but those two teams completely embarrassed themselves. The Cowboys lost what most people thought was the worst team in football. Now, when people are doing their power rankings, they're looking at the Cardinals like, well, I guess you're not as bad as we thought. Because you know who looked worse than the Cardinals this weekend? The Bears. The Jets offense. They looked way worse than the Cardinals did this weekend. There are teams in the NFL that have better rosters on paper than the Arizona Cardinals. But the Cardinals did an amazing job at executing their game plan. You know, Almost everyone on the Minnesota Vikings roster is a starter over almost everyone on the Arizona Cardinals. But the Vikings are 0-3, and there's talk about should they trade away Kirk Cousins and tank for the season. Meanwhile, in Arizona, people are like, well, if we just beat the Cowboys and we're playing these teams close, maybe the Fighting John Gannon's actually got something going on down there in Arizona with aerospace engineering major Josh Dobbs. I mean, Josh Dobbs, in all intents and purposes, is a real world genius. And in football, he's a solid quarterback. And he performed better than Dak Prescott, Zach Wilson, and Sam Howell this past weekend. So, and then Washington, speaking of Sam Howell, the Bills' defense is not that good. The Bills' defense is not so good that they should be completely crushing you and taking your soul away from you. That's what happened, at least from my eyeballs, with the Bills-Washington game. It was like the Bills basically ran away with, they were like the body snatchers from Space Jam. It was like everybody on the Commanders forgot how to play football. The Bills' defense is a good defense, but it's not an elite defense. They got no Von Miller out there right now. Okay? They are a team that has some obvious limitations because we saw them lose to the Jets. Yeah, they lost to the Jets. First game of the year. Now, they beat a Raiders team that's not very good. And they dominated a Washington team that actually looked way better than they did last week. So either the Bills needed to lose week 1 of the season to wake up like a championship fighter who needs to get knocked down before he gets back on track, or Washington is way worse than we expected. Because, man, I did not expect that to happen at all. Right now, the Eagles are top of the NFC East because Washington played probably one of the worst games I saw the entire weekend of teams playing bad games. And the Cowboys basically got donkey kicked in the face and never got up off the mat by an Arizona Cardinals team that almost seemingly accidentally found a way to win because the Cowboys couldn't do anything right. All right, over on the text board, 609-403-0973. I also see Hal from Wilmington on the DMs. I'll get to Hal in just a minute, but Croce's message came in first. He says, honestly, it's a good point what you said, Josh. Maybe Jalen just isn't good if he's forced to play conservative 50% power. I'm still going to give Brian Johnson a little wiggle room. Us as fans were calling for Steichen's head on year 1 until they did figure things out. 2 interesting points there by Croce. Number 1, the final point. The Eagles offense, yes, in year 1 of the Sirianni-Steichen era, a lot of people had a lot of problems with it. But the reason why they got better and started winning games is because Nick Sirianni gave Steichen more play calling and more game plan responsibilities. Nick Sirianni stopped being the primary play caller for the Eagles on offense. And that's when it got handed to Steichen. And that's when Steichen started establishing himself as a good, competent NFL offensive mind. He was able to display that, and Sirianni could just stick to being the CEO and the commander-in-chief of the organization in terms of the locker room and on the field. He could be the executive officer and let everyone else do their jobs. I think that when you look at Steichen, what he did year 1, I think Steichen deserves a lot of credit, Croce. And I think that the Eagles organization, you're right. They came out and they did not look that great. And now what you're seeing is that the Colts are 2-1. And they're 2-1 because of Shane Steichen in many ways. So, maybe losing Steichen was more of a blow than we expected. And maybe we bought too much into the hype of what Nick Sirianni said about Brian Johnson. And we bought too much into the idea that Brian Johnson basically is this, he has a connection with Jalen Hurts, right? Well, the connection hasn't obviously been there as much as we thought. The other part of what Croce said was interesting is that, I'm still going to give Brian Johnson a little wiggle room. You're right. You do got to give the offensive coordinator some time because it is only 3 games into this season. You heard Jason Kelsey say it. Teams are trying to stop the Eagles from doing something that was a key part of their offense in the past. The key part of the offense last year was big plays. A key part of the offense in 2017 was big plays. So this team, when they make big plays, they tend to have a lot of success. And when they can't make the big play, that's when they seem to have a little trouble. And maybe Brian Johnson is still adjusting to that. But listen, I think that at the end of the day, if you don't have this offense fully figured out by the time you play the Dolphins, right? I mean, you play the Commanders this week, 1:00. You hear the game right here on 97.3 ESPN. Then you got 2 straight road games at the Los Angeles Rams, and you come back east to play the New York Jets. If you don't have this figured out by the Dolphins game, I don't know if they win the Dolphins game. Because if the Dolphins stay healthy and they keep playing at the level they're playing at, the only way to beat Miami is to get into a shootout with them or to knock Tua Tagovailoa out of the game. And you're not allowed to have bounties in the NFL anymore. You're not allowed to purposely hurt people. So my working theory is that the Eagles offense better be 100% ready to go by the time we get to that game. Hal chimes in on the DMs on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Says, hey, hello, Josh. I just wanted to make a comment about the Washington Commanders' old name and what I personally experienced in the early 90s. Washington would visit Arizona once a year as they were in the same division at that time. And I went to, wow, this is a long message from Hal. All right. Hal, I'm going to try to queue up your full message here. Try to see, because I didn't realize it was this long. Okay, Hal's basically his position is that he doesn't understand why the name was changed. And then he basically has said that there's a lot of people who are Native American who have supported Washington over the years and also support the Sun Devils in Arizona as well. Okay. So this is a conversation that then I cannot surmise really quickly. And I appreciate Hal chiming in on the DMs on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. So I'm going to try to encapsulate this the best way I can. The name was changed for 2 reasons. One, because we live in a world where people like the attention to be able to say, I'm offended by that. And they love the idea that they have some sort of like power to influence people. And to me, it's not about whether if the name was racist or not, because at the end of the day, in the literal sense, the name was, it does have a racial overtone that seems to be, unnecessary, right? But if the organization really cared about the history of the team, they wouldn't have changed name to football team and then Commanders. The larger problem with the name change for Washington is not that the team name used to be Redskins. It's the fact that now that the team is owned by somebody different, now people are talking about, well, let's change the name back. It was almost like people only cared about the name being insensitive or potentially racially insensitive or whatever term you want to put it. They only cared about it because Daniel Snyder was a scumbag and he was a horrible owner. They didn't care about the name change before Daniel Snyder kept the team from having any success and basically using his position as an NFL owner and his wealth from the team to basically could be a debaucherous individual. When the organization was winning championships and winning divisions and going to the playoffs almost every year, and when Joe Gibbs was one of the best coaches in football, nobody cared about the name because they were winning. But as soon as Washington's organization became a dumpster fire run by a well-known scumbag, then the name became a problem. Then nobody wanted to give them a stadium because of the name. Then sponsors were bailing. They weren't bailing because of the name. They were bailing because of Daniel Snyder. So, that's my position on it. And that's my explanation for Hal in Delaware. And I appreciate Hal's long message. And my apologies to the rest of the audience for not fully screening the text before I read it on the radio. But I think that at the end of the day, people hated Daniel Snyder. He's gone now. Josh Harris is there. There's already talk that they could change the name from Commanders to something else. And at the end of the day, I don't know what that means. Whether it is what it used to be, frankly, they should have just kept it the football team. Like, if you're going to change the name, don't change it 3 times to sell jerseys and other stuff. Change the name because you actually have like a real name to change it to. Just so ridiculous. All right, Steven Ventnor, I got to get to his message and more coming up. Also, Jeff Notion followed up and said, good stuff. I hope Jalen Hurts can get better, cut the turnovers. By the way, folks, as somebody who works in this space, it's going to take me and all of us a while to make sure we keep saying Jalen Hurts, Jalen Carter, because having 2 Jalens on this team and they're both good players, I know we didn't have that before. When Jalen Reagor was here, when we said the name Jalen, we never talked about Jalen Reagor. But now that Hurts is here and now that Carter is here, we got to delineate which one we're talking about. All right. We'll wrap up the hour coming up next. More of your messages here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennick hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN FM. Don't forget the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See how where if you go to the 97.3 ESPN mobile app or go to 97.3 ESPN.com, you'll get to check out the latest on where I will be this Saturday for the Balls Out block party at Resorts Casino in Atlantic City. They got tons of stuff going on this Saturday. Myself and 97.3 ESPN will be out there hanging out with everyone out there. There's going to be a ribbon cutting ceremony for the upgraded DraftKings Sportsbook dining experience. There's going to be a competitive eating contest with the famous Joey Chestnut is going to be there competing. There's going to be live entertainment and tons of prizes you can win. So for all the details on why you should join me this Saturday in Atlantic City at Resorts Casino for this end of summer block party, just go to 973ESPN.com for all the details.
Ian Eagle here from Thursday Night Football on Westwood One. NFC North action ahead this week from Green Bay with Jordan Love and the Packers coming off a 3-score fourth-quarter comeback win last week. Now they host Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions, who also moved to 2-1 with a victory on Sunday. Join me and newly inducted Hall of Famer Joe Thomas for all the action on Thursday Night Football.
Listen to Thursday Night Football on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 7:30.
97.3 97.3 ESPN has teamed up with Seize the Deal for incredible weekly offers from some fantastic local restaurants. Here's this week's big deal.
Get two $25 gift cards that you can use at Beach Buns Bakery in Northfield for just $25.
Get this great deal starting Friday at 9 a.m. at seizethedeal.com. Hurry, chances are this deal will sell quickly. For more info on this great deal, go to seizethedeal.com.
SeizeTheDeal.com.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how's the back pain now? 22.
Wonky work from home desks have Dane's Acupuncture booked up.
You need to get in, but this week's all full.
But finding more practitioners has them on pins and needles.
You know, my lunch is in 20 minutes. How fast can you get here?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-386-7140. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-386-7140 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, or other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-386-7140. 800-386-7140. 800-386-7140.
Ugh, I don't have time for a cold.
Honey.
Honey?
You need DayQuil Severe Honey flavor.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe Honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious. Power through your day medicine.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Former CIA officer and survival expert Jason Hansen here. I teach people how to prepare for the unexpected. Right now, most Americans are not ready for the death of the US dollar. You have money sitting in cash, and if you don't act soon, your financial future could be at risk. I have partnered with Advantage Gold, the #1 rated precious metals company in America, to release my new digital dollar survival kit that's 100% free for everyone who calls today and claims your free survival kit. Simply call 800-900-8000 and give your email address, and I will have this new digital dollar survival kit sent to you immediately. Call 1-800-900-8000 now and claim your free kit, and also mention my name, Jason Hansen, and see how you could also qualify for $1,000 in free silver. Supplies are limited, so call right now before it's too late. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Check with your financial advisor before investing.
Call 800-900-8000.
Wow, Total Wine really does have everything. I found a great Prosecco for under $8, your favorite Cabernet.
Ruthie?
Hi, that's me. What can I help with? Oh, thanks for recommending that amazing French rosé. And I can't believe it was under $7.
I know, right? You can't beat that price.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Let's grab some more. So glad we found Ruthie.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, be 21.
A lot of Canoli's energy started to bounce back.
She has a lot of puppy moments, and she'll be 14 this summer.
What did these dog parents do for their dogs? They switched to Nature's Blend, a premium freeze-dried raw dog food made by Dr. Marty Goldstein, a veterinarian Forbes magazine called the Miracle Worker. It's the easiest way to support your dog's easy digestion, nourished skin, playful energy, and most importantly, their healthy, full life.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is
is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free full-size bag of Tilly's Treasures dog treats. They're best-selling beef liver dog treats while supplies last. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or shop in over 2,000 stores nationwide. Use the store locator to find the store closest to you. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
Hey, Josh Hennick here to tell you about how Jenkins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning has helped your favorite football team. Did you know that over 40 years ago, John Jenkins Sr. invented the heated seat that football players sit on today? Yes, the Jenkins family created a way for football players to weather the extreme cold. Now imagine what Jenkins could do for your home. Call Jenkins for plumbing, drain cleaning, and leak repairs, gas furnace, boiler, and hot water heater replacements. Call Jenkins today at 609-641-6262, online at jenkinsandsons.com.
Now, more Game Night with John on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Josh Hennick back here on 97.3 ES. You guys got me laughing over here in the studio. Some of these messages are just great. Someone says, Josh, I'm highly offended by the Atlanta Braves. They should be called the Atlanta Overthinkers. Another text coming in on the text board says, regardless of woke culture and Dan Snyder, how about the Native American communities decide on the name of the team and leave it at that? I know a lot of DC fans would simply prefer and call the team Hogs. Oh, by the way, go Birds. You know, it was always weird to me that they went with Commanders. I felt like calling a team the Commanders was it was like the team got relegated. Like in European soccer, like you're not a good enough team, you get kicked down from the league that you're in, like the next league down. I felt like the Washington. Like, when did Washington get relegated? Did they get kicked to the XFL? I thought what's going on with that. Yeah, the whole name seems to be that. Really. Back to the Eagles and the Phillies, because Steve Ventnor chimed in. He says, Eagles offensive line has at least 3 future Hall of Famers. They're the best unit in the league. That means less passing and more running. I guess I'm okay with that. Any update on Landon Dickerson's injury? The last thing I had saw, he has what they're calling a knee contusion. So I'm assuming that it's basically going to come down to, as long as the doctors clear him that him playing is not going to create any more damage to me, then it's just a pain tolerance issue. I don't think it's anything long-term serious. Because when you have a knee contusion or a bone bruise or or a sprain or any of those different types of things, it literally comes down to the doctor basically saying, look, if you play, you're not going to make it worse. But then it comes down to what's your pain tolerance. Like, you had all those guys who didn't play on Thursday Night Football because they described as ribs. Well, you didn't have shattered ribs. They didn't need surgery. But, for certain people, if your ribs are banged up enough, you can't breathe. So, to me, I'm assuming the Landon Dickerson thing is not overtly serious. If it's a knee contusion, I'm assuming that it's going to be okay moving forward. I'm just trying to figure out who the third Hall of Famer on the line is, because it's Jason Kelsey, it's Lane Johnson. Steve Venner, who is your third guy making the Hall of Fame? Because everyone else is too young to know yet. I mean, Mailata is not even 30 yet. Dickerson is, 24 years old, I think. Cam Jurgens is, 23, 24? So, by the way, Steve Venner also says Phillies put the playoff spot tonight. Let's go with the exclamation point. Yeah, man, Phillies win tonight. They are officially in the postseason. And if they win tonight, they hit the over 87.5. Yes, that was my preseason pick. The only preseason pick I got right for the Phillies was that they were going to get more than 87.5 wins and make the postseason. I didn't get the MVP right. I didn't get the best pitcher on the team right. I got none of that right. I only got right the team was going to playoffs. That's why I should stick to football, right? I'm Josh Hennick. This is Game Night. I'll catch you tomorrow.
This is the radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football. It's week 4, and the Eagles are back home hosting their NFC East rivals, the Washington Commanders.
He is in! Touchdown, Eagles!
Pre-game coverage begins this Sunday at noon. Merrill and Mike call all the action starting at 1 p.m. This is South Jersey's official home for Philadelphia Eagles football. 97.3 ESPN. South Jersey's Eagles station. Brought to you by
Jenkins Plumbing and Heating at jenkinsandsons.com. Piccalilli Inn. Nobody beats the Piccalilli, Route 206 in Chemung. Frank Vincent Windows, Roofing, Siding, and Doors make your home look new again. BMW of Atlantic City. Shop our complete inventory online at bmwatlanticcity.com. And First Bank of Sea Isle.
97.3 ESPN FM is your official home in South Jersey for Eagles football. 97.3 ESPN FM.